So last night went to watch Alien Romulus. It's an okay film, set sometime after the first film Alien and before Aliens. So it's like a prequel and a sequel in one. So it starts off and a ship somehow finds the alien that was blasted out the airlock in the first Alien film and takes it aboard. Outside of the wreckage of the Nostromo, and then it cuts to a scene where it's on a kind of a mining planet, and it's very dystopian, very Blade Runner like style, a lot of people have mentioned, and where there's this lady and her android, played by a black British actor called Andy, who is her custodian or protector. So she's like kind of like an orphan. So it's a little bit kind of similar to Star Wars: The Force Awakens a little bit. But anyway, she ends up getting cheated by the company and has to work extra years on her quota or whatever system they have. And anyway, but her and some friends or these people decide to steal a ship or use this ship and fly up into space above the planet, as there's a space station, a derelict one, that should have life pods on it, so they can then go to the nearest star system, which is about approximately 9 light years away, and be in cryogenic sleep, like in all the other alien movies that you probably have seen. But anyway, so they go up, some good special effects and style in terms of the planet they're going above. There's like a ring of like Saturn, Neptune style, and they go onto the ship, and it's a ship that's split in two wings called Romulus and Remus, hence the title Alien Romulus. But anyway, they go in and they have to find fuel because the pods, the life cryopods, are low on cryo fuel. So by doing that, they awaken face huggers, and one of the crew members gets a face hugger on her, and it's predictable what happens next. But anyway, it had a lot of recycled elements from other Alien movies. So it had a lot of Alien in terms of the aesthetic, the layout and that, the set design, and then it had a lot of Aliens as well. Also had bits of Alien 3, Alien Romulus, Prometheus was referenced a few times in the plot. So yeah, it was interesting film, but it just felt too recycled, and there was some plot holes in there. So spoilers alert. Yeah, it's just it was just average. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. As entertainment, it's entertaining, but it just didn't really kind of hit the mark. It's not a film that I had asked for or had expected them to ever make. So I don't know what they were kind of thinking. Hopefully there isn't a sequel to this one. The highlight of the film was Andy, the android, who is reprogrammed halfway through. So he goes from being quite average character to being a very interesting android in terms of the plot and his mission, and that where he's to protect the company's interests. And then there's a deep fake special effects of the late Ian Holm playing an android who's of the same series as Ash in the first Alien film, and it's a bit of uncanny valley in it. I read online that a lot of people didn't like the special effects of it because it was a bit kind of off-putting, but yeah, he was all right. And at the end, there's a lot of a cross between Alien Prometheus and Alien Resurrection. So there's a hybrid kind of creature, which is kind of like the baby creature at the end of Alien Resurrection. So yeah, so it was basically a blender of all the previous Alien movies you could think of, and someone was saying Alien Isolation computer game as well, so it had to set elements of it, but just kind of lacked cohesion. So yeah, also the horror was average. A lot of people were saying that it's getting back to its roots of its horror of the first Alien film, but it just didn't scare me at all. So I was watching it, and they were going through the corridors, and there was nothing I hadn't seen before, nothing about the alien or the consequences or the suspense that I hadn't experienced before from other films, let alone Alien. There was too many references to the other films, including dialogue, straight out quotes, use of same lines. So it was like kind of like a fan film or like a love letter to the Alien franchise from the director. So it was okay. So if you really, really like Alien, I do recommend you go to the theatre and watch it, because it's still an interesting watch. I rate it higher than Alien Covenant. I didn't mind Prometheus, even though Ridley Scott didn't quite hit the mark with that film in terms of explaining where the engineers came from, where the alien actually came from, where the ship came from on the planet from the first Alien film, which had all the eggs. And yeah, so it just didn't really kind of nail it, but it was still entertaining, so it's all right. So yeah, would I pay to watch it again? Probably not, but it'll be on streaming or download sometime, so I'll might revisit again. But I did find it better than the last film, Alien Covenant, which had potential itself, but it just, you could see the plot before it happened, and there was a bit of this in Alien Romulus as well. Notably, Ridley Scott is one of the producers of Alien Romulus as well. So overall, a solid 7 out of 10, so which is not too bad. So it's a watch. Yeah, I love science fiction. In terms of science fiction, the takeaways for me was the corporate dystopian feel at the start. So it was like a futuristic mining colony, which is a bit hellish. The sun never shines. It's just bleak, dangerous. These old, grimy conditions, including canaries in cages that would take down into the mine. So for a futurist society, still using canaries was interesting, and it was just bleak, like a slave, indentured peasant servitude kind of vibe about it, which I quite liked. In terms of this other science fiction, like in Prometheus, there was hints at the ancient alien type thing. So the Ash character, once again, more spoilers, type character, he was explaining how they synthesized or reverse engineered or extracted the DNA from the original alien from the first film, which obviously they put in the airlock and the thing, and they could sequence it, and they came up with that black goo out of Prometheus. So and he was talking about how they can make better workers and that. So it kind of had a little bit of Ancient Aliens kind of thing in there. So it kind of reminded me of all the videos you'll see on YouTube about the Anunnaki creating mankind to be workers to mine for gold or whatever. So it had kind of elements of that. Most people would have missed that, but I'd certainly noticed it. And it had the distrust of, do you trust artificial intelligence or AI as well? So you had that, which is a recurring theme throughout the whole Alien franchise as well, which kind of gives it part of its charm. Also, it had a feel, it kind of expanded the universe in the sense that there was another mining planet and stuff like that, where it's like a small space empire was starting to build up. So it's probably set, I think, 2130 or whatever, around that time. A lot of the Alien films are on that in the timeline in terms of the date. So it was interesting. So there were some science fiction takeaways, but as a cohesive film, it just felt a little bit recycled, or there was too many recycled elements from other Alien films. So I was watching, I was thinking, oh, there's some Alien 3. Oh, that reminds me of Alien Resurrection. Oh, there's some bit of Alien vs Predator vibe there. Oh, that's something from Aliens, or then Aliens. It was kind of like cycling around. So it just didn't quite really nail it, but 7 out of 10 is not too bad. So 3.5 stars out of 5. So yeah, it's all right. So check it out. So yeah, pretty much that's the review.